Welcome, time for some art fun. Today I'm going to show you how to Inktober on the go, so stick around. It's that time of year again where people take on a challenge with art for the month of October, and I decided to use my fountain pen ink. I'm just showing you here that it doesn't bleed through in this Stillman and Byrne Zeta Series sketchbook. I have the list here, the official 2022 prompt list. I picked the 6 prompts that jumped out at me the most, and then I took a few of my favorite fountain pens and filled them with 3 of my absolute favorite fall inks. They just scream fall to me. And I have my horribly chipping nail polish job here this whole time. So if you do have, any sensitivity to things like that, please try to ignore. I do have it on speed most of the time, so hopefully it won't jump out at you how horribly my nails are chipping here. So what I did is I just took the prompts that jumped out to me. I picked a theme. Last year I did figurative drawings, so I did human figures because that's one of the things I struggle with. This year, because I wanted to go fast and easy and show you how you can sort of fit it into a busy work schedule this year, I decided to pick cute animals because that's in my wheelhouse, that's my jam. I'm doing a bunch of different techniques, mostly line, but I'm also doing some smudging. It's really messy. There's no sketch, there's no pencil sketch, it's just straight ink to paper, which means that it gets messy. I actually really prefer this little pug here before I smudged out its eyes and did some other smudging elsewhere. So remember this cute little face. But when I saw gargoyle, I thought of a pug, and that's what I drew. There you can see how the smudging kind of went a little overboard. Next, I decided to do scurry, and I thought of a little mouse. I took my next ink color, and actually let me rewind a minute. The first ink is a really deep purple ink that sheens kind of a lime green, and it's from Diamine, and it's called Mombado's Hat. And I also really like Lamy Azurite. 2 really beautiful purples that sheen green. So that's one that really makes me think of Halloween with the purple and the green, and it's very spooky. This one here that I'm doing this little mouse with is Fire Opal, and that is a Monteverde ink. 2 very affordable brands, Diamine and Monteverde. You can really dip your toe in colorful fountain pen ink with these brands and not, get in over your head. But I'm just even putting my finger directly on the feed here of the fountain pen to just get as much ink out as I can, because I really wanted to almost paint this whole little guy this orange color and just leave a few highlights. I didn't really love how this one came out, but it did grow on me, and I added some more purple highlights later. You'll be able to see my little reference pictures on my phone. They're all from Pixabay, which is a free reference picture site. And I highly recommend that you just pick some inks that you want to use. Like I did here, I picked my 3 inks. This one here, this beautiful green, is called Alt Goldgrun, and it's from Rohrer and Klingner, another very affordable ink brand. And this is the bat, and I just decided to do like a cartoony bat here. So what I did is I just picked 6 of the prompts to represent 6 different days of Inktober, but I don't have time to do it every single day this month. So instead, when I have some time, and here I was out at a restaurant, kind of like a Panera, but it's a one-off local one, different brand, and just brought my 3 pens and my sketchbook and my phone and got to work. And I did the entire spread with all 6 prompts in half an hour at this restaurant while my husband had some soup. So just so you know, it is something you can fit in, and cramming a bunch of them into one day to me really helps because it takes the pressure off. Sometimes when I'm seeing the Inktober drawings on Instagram and stuff like that, I'm so intimidated by how perfect they look. They look like full-on masterpieces, and I cannot believe that people are putting them together every day for 31 days. And sometimes it just intimidates me out of even trying. And there are a lot of different challenges. You don't have to do Inktober. There are a bunch. There's Cattober from Kat Falk's channel. There are a bunch of different ones. I can even try to link as many as I can think of below, but you can just Google October art challenges and you'll find a whole slew of different prompts with different themes. For Nest, I did that little baby duckling, and now I'm doing a crab for Crabby. And this one is another like cartoony one. I tried to get my ink to just fling out so I could color again, but it was harder to do than just putting my finger on the feed, just FYI. But I thought doing this, no sketching with pencil, no remote effort at perfection, going right in with ink, smudging with my fingers, making it messy. It's intentional for you all to see this is a full art channel. And this is good enough for me. This is the whole point, is to just make stuff that I like looking at, things that I think are cute, picking a theme so the pressure's off of having to like think of what the word scurry means in the general sense. It could mean any number of things, or the word bat could mean so many different things. Batting your eyelashes, an actual physical would hit a baseball with. But if you're thinking in terms of cute animals, it kind of gets a lot easier. So picking a theme, I saw Lindsay the Frugal Crafter one year picked hands, and she just did hands. So picking something you want to work on, or picking something that's super easy for you, totally valid options. Whatever's going to get you to just get in your sketchbook and let loose and draw. Some things are going to come out better than others. Some things are going to come out absolutely horrible. Some things you'll like earlier in the stage and you'll wish you stopped, like with the gargoyle one for me. But in the end, this is the cutest ever. I love this spread. There's one more coming. But I love looking at this spread, and when I was done, I was so happy. But do you see how there are those like smudges and mistakes? And when I did scurry, there was an extra line because I didn't like how far out I made the forehead. That's all fine. This is just your sketchbook. It's not actually getting graded. You're not submitting it for credit. You don't fail a class if you don't do it perfectly. It's just about getting in there. And this was the first day I was actually able to get in there and do anything in the month of October. I've done other art, but I wasn't doing any kind of an art challenge. This last one, I wanted to do from my head. And if I want to do something from my head, I often will pick a subject that I've drawn from reference many times. And as you all know, if you've watched my channel, that would be an owl. I love to do cute little floof owls. And when I saw this last, I was called Salty, and I did think about doing like a sea animal, like a sea salt animal of some kind. But when I really thought of Salty, the thing that sounded fun to do was an animal that was acting salty. And if I wanted to do any old animal that was acting salty, picking an owl, it's pretty easy to make an owl look a little salty by making its eyebrows come down a little and giving it a little frown. So that's what I did. I used all 3 of the inks on this one. And by the time I was done, I was glad I did some just with one color, but I really liked the combination of all 3 in the crab and in the owl, because I didn't even realize that I wasn't trying to, but it did have a good range of values. And so I do recommend, you can of course just use plain black ink, but I love watercolor. I am an artist who likes color. And so this is just a great excuse for me to use all my colorful fountain pen inks. It's like a no-brainer for me to not just use black. And if I'm using colors, then you're into the concept of values. And this had a whole range of values. I had the super dark darks with this purple. I had a mid-tone with the sort of orange, the burnt orange, fire opal color. And then I had a pale tone with that alt gold grun. So I really liked that I was able to get a range of values with this owl. And I wished I'd kind of thought of that with more of the other ones. And I did end up going back and adding purple to the scurry mouse at the end to give it a little bit more oomph. I hope that just seeing this example of half an hour, quick, going right in with the pen, making mistakes, don't care, don't have time to care about that, does not matter. Even having a channel where I kind of am getting graded on it, in the sense that you all might tell me, you think this art stinks in the comments. You're usually super nice, but you could. I mean, nothing's stopping you from saying, I thought that stunk. So in a way, I kind of am getting graded. But it still doesn't matter. The point of this, if you get it, you get it. You know what I mean? Have you ever heard that phrase, like, the girls who get it, get it. The girls who don't, don't. That's so what this is about. It's, if you get it, you get it. It's just about getting in your sketchbook and moving the pen across the page. I had so much fun with this spread, and I really loved looking at the final spread. And part of that might be because when I look at the final spread, I think about how much fun I had just wiggling my pen around. This is a great moment too to actually be saying that it happens to match up perfectly with when I was sort of just wiggling my pen and doing whatever I wanted and not thinking it through and just saying, I just want this to have something, and just throwing it down. And I actually love how it ends up looking like that chest of the owl is just like 2 super fuzzy, chubby thighs. So he's just got his legs bunched up under him because he's salty. He's feeling salty. So I really hope that this inspires you to let go of the perfectionism. Just release the kraken of perfectionism out into the world and out of your studio, out of your kitchen table, out of your desk, or wherever you're making art, off of your lap in front of the TV, and just get some ink out and go right in. It's okay if it looks kind of funky and wonky. It's okay if you don't love the final product. It's okay if you try a bunch of different styles, like cartoony, realistic. It's okay if you think of something weird when you see your word, and no one else would get why that's what the word association was for you. This is for you to just fill a spread in your sketchbook and get in on the action with everyone else who's loving art challenges in October. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to click the like button and leave me a comment with which was your favorite little baby. If you're not subscribed, I would so appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. It makes such a big difference to me. I'm coming up on my 1-year YouTube anniversary, and I would so appreciate it if you would subscribe and we can see what we can hit by the end of the month, which will be the end of my 1-year anniversary. I'm adding some fall colors for you, and until next time, remember, create something cute.